Hey, what up, fellow Rust players? Time to talk about another module that can be added to our automated sorting system or just utilized in a singular faction with the simple box of materials. And today we're going to talk about auto crafting because it's probably one of the most underutilized modules that can be pretty helpful. And one thing to note is that it doesn't take up too much power and it can be patched right into the system that we already have to make crafting super easy. Every single workbench can basically take 2 of these automated crafters on them at a time. So you can kind of use them for a variety of different things if you really, want to get into that sort of thing. Let me give myself a little bit of scrap, and then I'm going to give myself some ammunition of a few different kinds so I could give you at least an understanding of what's happening here. So after I get all these guys put down, we're going to need power for each of them. And according to Rust, we're going to need 1 power. So I have some splitters and some branches set up. Each of the branches is set up with 4 power so that we can power each of the crafters. And then we just got to get all of them connected, right? And you got a bunch of different options and items that you can put on. But for now, we're just going to get these guys at least with the power in, because we're giving you the most simple version of this system, the one that you're probably going to end up using. I'm sure there's people out there that have this thing even more automated with timers and stuff, but for the most part, when you're doing this, you're probably only going to be making ammunition or other items that you guys use pretty intensively. That's what I've done, but I mean, you could automate craft rockets if you really wanted to. And, you had the materials for it. But, powering them up is pretty simple, right? And having them actually work is probably going to be one of the more difficult things here, is because they're going to be a lot more power and resource intensive for the actual conveyors, because you're going to need 2 conveyors per each of them in order to get this thing running the way that you want it to. So I kind of like to set it up like this so that you can kind of see. Sometimes it's easier to just stack them next to each other like this so that you can just kind of use all of them at the same time. Right? So, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. That way you're not troubling yourself to remember what you're putting in each of these things. And like I said, this isn't, gonna be perfect, but it'll definitely work in every aspect that you're wanting to. And the other thing that I think I need to put down is this research tables, because you'll need BPs, right? Like, that's one of the main ways that this thing works. So we'll throw a bullet in with some scrap, and it'll say that I've already researched it, right? Because I already have the BP for it, but I want the blueprint, because the blueprint's what makes the auto crafters actually work. So I'll make a blueprint for that. I'll make a blueprint for that. And then I'll make a blueprint for this one as well. And then I'm going to need to make some gunpowder blueprints so that we can give you a better understanding. And you can actually switch these blueprints apparently in between the systems. So, like, you don't have to be stuck using the one blueprint. You can swatch them out. And there's even a way to make it so that you can have it automatically switch them out. But for most people, they're not going to go that far into it. I mean, I don't really even go that far into it because I just haven't really had the need. But as far as I know, it gives us a reason to keep our old workbenches, because you can automatically craft anything on an industrial crafter that's basically already that can be crafted on that workbench. So now that I got those BPs set up, I'm going to go ahead and just drop this in here. Whoa, not there. I'm going to go ahead and hold E, open, and then copy the blueprint in. And you'll notice that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 slots for blueprints, so it'll basically make everything that's here. So if there's enough resources being put into the input, it'll make the first one, then the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one, and it'll just keep doing it until you turn it off, which is kind of nice because, you'll only ever run out of resources because you crafted something, right? Right. the next thing here is like for me, as a great example with just the tier 1, you know, like I could want to make gunpowder and I want to make bullets, and that's all this thing's gonna do right here, to make gunpowder and bullets. So since we're doing industrial stuff, I'm gonna use yellow, and then I'm just gonna click in the ins and the outs over here like this. There we go. Easy peasy. Simple. It's a simple. It's a simple. So now that we have that set up, we can just get our new splitter in, because we're obviously, just like with the boxes, we can connect 2 items to it. So we'll do splitter, splitter. There we go. And then we have our input over here. So if I come on down to my sorting system, I can go all the way from the bottom here and get my sort going. And connect it directly to my main system, which is why we do this, why we spent all the time setting it up in the first place, is so that we could add these modules to it as needed, because obviously you won't be able to get it set up in the very beginning, but eventually you'll be able to. So, you know, like here I am running my pipe. So now I got my auto crafter modules set up almost all the way. The only thing we got to do now is basically just combine those 2 guys right there. So I'll just do it here on the ground. Hit these guys here into this guy right there. There we go. And then easy peasy, I could either put it here on this empty one on the industrial end, or to show you, you know, since we already kind of had it going in the first place, I'll show you it going into our actual combiner loop right there, you know. That's what that was for, right? So let's use it. And now that's going to basically put the outputs back into the box for us. Super nice, super easy. And now the very, very hard part is we're going to have to set filters for these guys for the different items that we're actually going to want to create. So this one's bullets. Pretty easy to figure out what you need to have it set for. 10 metal frags, 5 bullets. So metal fragments, we need 10. And then we need gunpowder. And we also need only 5. Oh, 5 gunpowder. And then we could get that turned on. For the next one, we're actually having it make the gunpowder. So what, you know, what's the BP for gunpowder? 30 charcoal, 20 sulfur. So 30 charcoal. Easy peasy. We get that put in. We give ourselves a maximum. We could even say there needs to be a minimum in this system before I even start. So like, say I need to have a minimum of 100 charcoal before I start making stuff. You know, and this is how you keep yourself from running out of your materials. Same thing with the sulfur, right? You know, you're going to need 20 sulfur, so you'll only have it move 20 sulfur into the machine so it can make its one craft. And then you say, hey, I want to keep a minimum of 150 sulfur in my box. Or, hey, there needs to be a minimum of 1,000 sulfur in the box for it to automatically start making gunpowder for me. Once you got that done, it gets pretty easy, right? Super simple. So we'll go ahead and power this one on, and then we're going to go ahead and power the rest of these on as well, so we can have that out. And here, you know, you technically want to have a filter, right? So like we know that this one's making gunpowder, so we'll just put a gunpowder filter on it. And then this one's making pistol ammo, so we'll have a pistol ammo filter on it. And that way, it makes it easier, and it doesn't take the stuff out of the crafter as it's putting it in. So here we go. And now we just need to turn on the crafters, and you'll start hearing them go to work. And then you know the crafter's working when it makes the really funny noise. I think, though, I'm out of metal frags, so let's just give ourselves a nice little stack real quick. Isn't it nice having multiple drop boxes in areas? I could go for the top, bottom, front, whatever, and it'll actually work. So we'll see here, it's looking to pick up stuff. Oh, you know what? We need charcoal. That's right. We don't have any charcoal to make gunpowder, but I think we have everything else. There we go. Now let's move the charcoal. And then once the machine starts running, you'll hear the telltale noise. That noise. There it goes. And that's basically all you got to do to get automated crafting. And that's what it looks like right there. It'll automatically start sucking it out, adding it into this box, and then dropping it into the rest of the system. And that's just for regular ammo, you know? And if you think about it, you're going to want to have at least one crafter, two crafters, three crafters making gunpowder to keep up with everything. I usually try to have one crafter making gunpowder, one making ammo. Same thing for each of these. And, you know, to put it in perspective, you need at least 10 workbenches, maybe even 15 to make one rocket at a time. If not, you're just going to be having to make gunpowder on a mixing table, dropping it in your drop boxes, and then, you know, you can make other stuff. And that's basically how it works, you know? Like, it's not too difficult. It's just a module, and you can extend it out to utilize all of your workbenches so that you can make anything. You just need to make sure that you're putting the exact amount of stuff that you want inside the crafter and then just having it go. And the logic portion of it is really going to be coming from your actual conveyors here. And the easiest part to say is that, you know, I want at least 1,000 gunpowder, right? You know, like don't even start moving stuff unless we have this much, right? And that's going to be the most logic that you're going to have to use in order to automate your crafting. So, like, this is automated crafting ammo. You could do it with more stuff if you wanted. And overall, it'll just keep running until it hits the filters that say, hey, okay, you need to stop right now. And that's the kind of thing that you're going to be getting. And as you'll see, it's just going to constantly give us a flow of ammo, which is super cool. So that's the next module. That's the automated crafting module. So we got the automated sorting module. We got the automated smelting module. And now we got ourselves an automated crafting module. And this is all stuff that you could keep in your base. I mean, for the most part, you're probably only really going to want to do meds and ammo. But you could get real crazy with it in however you try. And honestly, this is going to go pretty well with the next module, which is going to be your automated locker system. Either way, thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share this with your friends, and I'll see you out in Rust. Have a good one.